Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Salerno, Chief Editor of Dental Economics, and welcome to another's DE Recall Visit, where we look at some of our favorite articles from a recent issue of Dental Economics and sit down with the author and learn a little bit more. So I'm joined today by Dr. Tom Snyder, who is a regular in dental economics. He is most frequently found in our Transitions Roundtable, where he weighs in on all of your burning questions for buying and selling practices and everything in between. Tom, thank you so much for joining us today.
Chris, thanks for the invite. Happy to be here.
Terrific. So in this particular column, we had an interesting question about compensating the selling dentist, right? So a selling dentist is going to stay on after the transition for all of the reasons that someone would want to do that, to help introduce patients, ensure goodwill, that sort of a thing. But how do you compensate these dentists is a really interesting question. I've heard all kinds of answers. What is, in your experience, your favorite way or the most common way to do this?
Well, the most common way, Chris, and a lot depends on two things. How long we're going to employ the former owner. Is it going to be for a few months, or is it going to be for an extended period? Because perhaps the practice that they're purchasing, the buyer's purchasing, has more patients than they can handle by themselves, so they need another set of hands. So in that case, where it's a more of a long-term employment situation, we typically will compensate them as an associate, paying them usually a percentage of collections, and then we have a lab deduction. However, if it's for a shorter period of time, then that model doesn't work. We'd rather work on more of a fixed basis or a flat basis for a limited period of time.
So that's very interesting, and I've heard some consultants talk about that you should pay them a flat fee. The part of the idea is that in certain situations, I imagine this can happen, that the selling dentists, when they stay on, they like to take the most profitable cases, the big cases, and that a flat fee might help with that situation. So tell me a little bit more about paying them a flat fee.
Well, I think you're right in that sense. If the patient base is a little bit smaller and that experienced doctor has the relationships with these patients, has a reputation, then that could be an issue where they could maybe stockpile patients and get paid a commission, and that would probably be a new to the owner. But if the owner really wants me to babysit patients, introduce patients, just do hygiene exams, maybe some simple restorative, then a flat fee is what we usually recommend. So I think, in summary, a lot depends, in my experience, on the number of patients that you're really taking over as that buyer. That dictates how busy that senior doctor or former owner is going to be practicing, how many days and things. And that's kind of how we decide whether we pay commission or pay on a flat basis.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And for those of you at home that want to read the article, it's in the July edition of Dental Economics. And you can learn a lot more from Tom Snyder at our upcoming Principles of Practice Management Conference, September 23rd and 24th. Tom, tell us a little bit more about what you're going to be addressing in your presentation there.
Yes, I'll be doing a very fast-paced 2-hour presentation on lots of topics relating to practice transitions. We're going to touch things like hiring your first associate. How do you evaluate a practice? Why do practice values vary across the country? What's it like to be a partner? What's it like to own multiple offices? How do you really put that into a game plan? So this program will cover a lot of ground, and it'll give you lots of good ideas. If you want to buy a practice, what are some of the things to look for in buying a practice? So, we will be on a track beat to get that information out. It'll be a good one.
That's going to be a jam-packed course. Well, thank you again. Dr. Tom Snyder is the Director of Transition Services for Henry Schein's Professional Practice Transitions. Always a wealth of information. And thank you again, Tom. We'll see you at the conference.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all.